Hello and welcome to eRacing GP Global Edition 8. This is the 8th season we've been running the Global Edition. My name is Alex Young, and besides me,
My name is Afiq Farid, and we'll be your commentators for today.
yeah, awesome. So, like I was saying, 8th running we've been doing this. We started in the COVID period, and for the last 2 years we've been doing loads of races. I think we've done something like 300 races in the last 2 years, so it's pretty cool. We have the copper, the silver, and then we have the combined race of the silver and gold coming up at 3 o'clock. So, we have different cars, different categories. Afiq, what are you looking forward to?
Well, I'm looking forward to all the races actually because as we can see from round one, all the races were extra competitive, and I have the utmost respect to all of these competitors because they
Yeah.
can drive their cars and they can drive it really well.
Yep.
So I'm really looking forward for today's race.
Absolutely. And we do start with the copper class. And let's have a look at the standings after round one. There you can see Keith Moe there out in front. Keith, one of our youngest competitors. He's not our youngest competitor. He's actually 8 years old. And it's great. We have guys going from as young as 6, actually, all the way up to 60. John McGregor, one of our oldest competitors there in P2. Kenneth Wong, Adam Kondraloch is there from Malaysia. Chris Chu from Singapore, also one of our olden goldies. Amir Poman. I can't wait for when he gets pole because I'm going to be making fun of his name all the way. Grant Miller then P7. He's not joining us today. He's just flown back to Scotland. Takafuji Joystick from Malaysia. I have to meet this person one day. It's such a cool name. Jack McGregor there in ninth, and Ronaldi Julie from Indonesia there in 10th position. Okay, and now we are seeing some on-track action. There are the Aquila CR1 cars. We use these cars quite a lot. It's a good basic car to begin with, and it's also free on Raceroom. Let's not forget we are on Raceroom. Great platform. Yeah, I mean, I know you don't drive Raceroom very much, but you have driven these cars, haven't you?
Well, I have driven in these cars in the past. Back then, during the first lockdown championship hosted by MAM, they actually used the Aquila CR1, and it's very tricky to drive. These cars are not easy. You may think it's easy, but it's actually not. It's a mid-engine car, but it doesn't act like a mid-engine car. That's the issue with it.
Yeah, okay, and you got a little bit of downforce as well, right?
Yeah, a little bit, but I don't. Well, you can. The downforce can be handy, but for me, I can't feel the downforce at all when I'm driving.
Okay, and we are on board with Chris Chu right now. He is second in the championship at the moment. Been doing Global Edition quite a while. And the track. We're at Silverstone, aren't we?
Yeah, we're in Silverstone, so it's a 5.89 kilometer track. Yes, it's a clockwise circuit, and it has 18 corners. So there are 4 straights. So you have the Hamilton Straight, which is the start-finish straight, and then you have the Wellington Straight, and then you have the National Pit Straight, which is the old start-finish straight, and then you have the Hangar Straight. So overtaking opportunities in Silverstone as a racer, there are plenty. You can overtake basically if you dare, and well, it's changed a lot ever since you last drove here, Alex, haven't it?
Yeah, it has. It has changed a lot. I've not driven the new format. I don't think I have. And it's high speed as well, isn't it? Do you like it? Because it is quite high speed, isn't it?
Well, since I drive it in other sims, Silverstone is probably one of the most Silverstone is probably one of the best high-speed tracks because it can be very forgiving, and when you get that perfect lap, it can be very rewarding at the same time.
Absolutely. It's one of those rare tracks that it's fun to drive and still have a lot of overtaking going on. So we should see a lot of action. Don't forget we have a 15-minute race coming up. And then the second 15-minute race is a reverse grid race. We like to do the reverse grid races here in eRacing GP. So it should be quite a lot of fun. Okay, Jet Lee Russell right now. One of the young drivers we've been on board. Maybe we can go to a full screen and we can actually ride on board for one lap. Let's follow Jet Li as he goes around the track. Why don't you take us for a lap, Afiq?
Alright, so coming down Abbey, he's taken that in 5th gear, and then now he's up to the second corner, which is called Farm. And then this is a very tight right double left chicane. Chicane?
Yeah, kinda, isn't
Yeah,
it?
kinda chicane. So there's Village, and then now we're approaching the loop, which is corner number 4. And then this is Aintree, which is turn 5 before you go down the Wellington Straight. Now this is where you can stay behind the car's other car's slipstream. Then you can, if you're brave enough, you can dive on the inside coming into Brooklands, or you can back off a bit and then make a very good approach coming into Luffield before you exit Luffield and then coming into Woodcote. and approaching the national pit straight.
Left field's a really long corner, isn't it? It's very important to get a good exit out of here because you are flat out through Woodcote.
Yeah, you are flat out through Woodcote. So as Jet Li Russell is approaching the national pit straight or the all start finish straight, now this is Corps. Corps, I think, is very synonymous with a lot of incidents. Well, we saw last year in the Grand Prix where Hamilton and Verstappen collided in Corps. You can be very ambitious, you can overtake there, as we can see Jet Li Russell approaching the Maggots and Beckers and Chapel section, and this is a very fun and fast flowy corner. You can get it absolutely right, and it can be extremely rewarding.
Yeah. It's great to watch Formula 1 cars through there. Formula 1 cars through there look amazing.
Well, we have for the gold and silver category, we have the 90s F1 car and we have the F2 cars.
Wow.
And I can't wait to see how these best drivers in the region drive around Silverstone in those cars.
Yeah, absolutely. And now we're on to the last bit. The last couple chicane. This is actually a chicane, isn't it? That leads onto the start-finish straight.
Well, the name of the corner is Vale Chicane, and then so this is Vale, and then Jet Li Russell will approach the final corner, and this is Club Corner, which is turn 18. So Jet Li Russell with a time of well, he hasn't said a time now, has he? But that's your lap around Silverstone.
Yeah, thank you very much. He's about a second off the pace right now. Ronaldo Giuli there with the quickest lap with the 2:09.1. Ronaldo Giuli, he's in the pits right now from Indonesia. We should follow him. Let's follow him right now because he is the quickest. He's a driver I really want to do well. I mean, we've seen him be in Global Edition for quite a long time, like some of the other regulars like Chris Chu and McGregor's. He has been quick, but he hasn't really put together a race for a while, and it would be really nice to see him. I've seen him win a reverse grid race, but it'd be nice to see him win a race one, wouldn't it?
Well, it'll be very surprising. I mean, since he's been in Global for quite some time, I think he does deserve that first win in a normal race, not a reverse grid race. I'm really looking forward to him. So we have a few contenders for today's race. We have Ronaldo Giuli, we have Keith Mo?
Keith Mo, yeah.
Keith Mo, that the 8-year-old youngster from KL, I believe.
Yeah, and we will go to Keith Mo in a while. I also just want to, as Ronaldo Giuli does this now, I just want to talk about one other driver, Andre Amit. He is our new youngest driver. He's only 6 years old.
Oh my lord.
Ladies and gentlemen, we have a 6-year-old driving. He's been coming down the Axel Academy. He's actually been doing it over a year now. He's been quite quick, actually. But didn't quite have the maturity yet to race with the other drivers yet. But at 6 now, he's even restarted his lap. He knows he's made a mess up and he's going to try and restart and go for another lap. So we'll have to keep an eye out for Andre, and hopefully he will do well. Okay, let's go back to what's happening on track right now. Chris Chu, he's second in the championship right now, and he's gone purple through Sector 1. Fastest of everyone through Sector 1. So he's in Sector 2 now, and this could be quite a good lap from him.
Yeah, it can be quite a good lap for him as he approaches the Maggots and Beckers section of the track. As we can see, Keith Moore, very, very, very brave, approaching Beckett's now.
Yeah, Chris Chu.
Sorry, Chris Chu. Chris Chu, my bad. And plants his foot down on the throttle, coming into the hanger straight.
Absolutely, this is the long straight. You can get overtaking down here, even though there's not a braking zone. You can get a good slipstream out of the Maggots-Beckett's complexes where you can do it. But yes, Chris Chu is purple through Sector 2 as well. Purple means fastest of all. Green means fastest of yourself, but he's purple, so he's fastest of all right now. And only a couple more corners to go. Maybe he can snatch pole position. Chris is one of these drivers that's improved tremendously in the global editions. You know, when he first started, he said his sim wasn't very good, and now he's got a better sim. It's looking a lot better for him, and at the moment, where's he going to go? He goes quickest of all.
Oh, it's a 2:08.792 by Chris Chu, so that is a really mighty and impressive lap by him.
Yeah, really good lap right now. And he's not restarting. He's just going to do 2 laps on a trot, which is a good idea, actually, isn't it?
Well, because you carry the momentum from your previous lap, and I think when you've already done it once, you tell yourself you want to do it again, because then you can perfect the lap even more.
Well, that's a great lap there. 4 tenths in front. Okay, let's see in second position. Ronaldo Giuli there in a similar looking car from Indonesia. He's up to second. He's restarting his lap, so he's got just enough time maybe to do one more lap. Yes, he does. But what about our championship leader, Keith Moe, down there in 5th position?
But oh, look, purple sector 1.
Whoa.
Okay, so we have a battle for pole, I believe.
Oh, he's gone wide though, hasn't he?
Yeah, Oh, no, he messes up coming into left field.
Let's see. Well, yeah, that looks messy to me. I don't think that's going to be quicker. He went super wide at left field.
But he has not reset.
Yeah, so he's carrying on. So maybe he's seeing a good delta on his screen.
Maybe he can squeeze in one more lap.
Yeah. So the 8-year-old from Malaysia looking quite good there. And only a few more corners to go. Well, actually, not a few more corners. Halfway through the track still. Lots more to go. But yes, Keith Moore, as he goes through Beckett's, Beckett's, and now Chapel, the last corner onto this Hanger Straight. And, oof, interesting line, super narrow. Okay, so he's 4/10 down on Chris's time. This is not going to be good enough for pole.
It may not be good enough for pole, but like I mentioned, he can squeeze in one more lap. There's 1 minute and 45 seconds remaining. So he can squeeze in one extra lap, and that might be the pole lap.
Well, actually he can't, because in race room, when the clock counts down to 0, that's it. They don't get to finish the lap. So slightly different compared to ACC, which I know you love. But Keith, will it be good enough to get onto the front row of the grid? Won't be good enough for pole. Maybe good enough for the front row, second row for sure. And he does go quicker, but how much quicker? There we go, P4.
P4. So he's 8/10 down behind Chris Chu.
And a good lap there by Adam Kondralochis, actually, the other Malaysian, with a good lap there. Adam, he's still on a... Ooh, this is not a bad lap, actually, is it?
Oh, yeah, it's not. So Adam Kondralochis
goes across the line. P2! Wow. So, okay, that's Kondralochis' best qualifying performance so far. Okay, we've got 50 seconds to go. We're not sure if he's going to stay there. Ronaldo Julie, though. Whoa, he comes out the last corner. This looks good.
Purple sector 1, purple sector 2. Ronaldo Julie will come out from the final corner. And what's his time? Oh, he misses out. He
lost time in the last sector. Still good enough for P2, but at the moment, Chris Chu is hanging on. And there is Chris Chu. He's given up. He's not going any quicker. So at the moment, he's holding from pole. Let's see who else is on good lap. Jet Russell's still completing his lap. But at the moment, that looks like your grid at the moment. Chris Chu there at the top, followed by Ronaldo Julie. Adam Kondralochis with his best qualifying to date. Keith Moore, championship leader, down in 4th position. Jet Russell then 5th. John McGregor in 6th. One Coco in 7th. Mohammed Hassif in 8th. Shami Masindra in 9th. Kenny Lowe rounding out the top 10. And 6-year-old Andre Amit qualifies P12 in his first ever race.
Well, not bad, considering that he's only, 4/10 behind the guy in 11. It's really impressive, especially that he's 6 years old.
Yeah, that is impressive. 6 years old. I mean, when we first started getting into the sim racing, and we started doing our classes and our competitions, I was like, okay, we need teenagers and above. We can't have them too young because they won't be able to know what's going on. But I'm amazed how we got these young kids coming in and they have the patience to sit on the sim and actually get pretty good at it. So that is pretty remarkable. Okay, so that's me, Alex Young, and here with Afik here. We're double A, but we have a triple A coming in, and that's Amo. The third A will be joining us for commentary in just a sec. Amo, can you hear us?
It's amazing how some things can come so well together when everyone has the name A, right?
Yes, it is. Absolutely.
Right, so that was an interesting qualifying session, and we have quite a mixed up grid in terms of championships, but it should be a great race, Alex.
Yes, it should. Lights going out, Ammo.
Right, here we go. Light on the gantry. And when they go out, we're going to go away for the first race here for Copper. It's a bit of a long hold up. We're underway, and that's a good start there from Chris Chu. He got the whole shot that he needed. Now he's going to come to turn 1 there, clearly in front. Ronaldo Julie didn't get such a good start. He's going to be swamped by the field here. But the rest of the field then, all 14 of them, I think, have gotten away safely, Afiq.
Yeah, I think it's gotten away safely too. So Ronaldo Julie in P2 and Keith Moore in P3. Oh, a little bit of a brave move from Jet Li Russell. So Jet Li Russell moves up to P3. But Keith Moore has the inside line coming into turn 4. But Jet Li Russell is so close to approaching the...
And contact between the two youngsters. Keith, of course, we just mentioned, a very young kid driving, 9 years old. Jet is 13, so battle of the youngsters there. Look at that, 3 abreast coming up to Brooklands. In fact, look at that, onto the inside goes One Coco on Kondralochis, but Kondralochis then manages to outfox him there. One Coco goes wide, and we focus on there's Mohammed Hasif for FSA Racing going side by side with Juan Coco. He's looking racy here today in his return to the championship.
Yeah, he is. He is looking a little bit racy today. So Mohammed Hasif stays behind Juan Coco, and he's 2 tenths behind. As we can see, more action coming at the back of the grid. As we are approaching Cops now, will there be any contact? No, there isn't any. As Mohammed Hasif tries to make a move on the inside of Juan Coco coming into Maggots. Is he brave enough to dive down the inside though? I don't think he is. He's backing off. Yeah, he's being the sensible person here. Oh, they make contact there. So Mohammed Hasif makes contact with Juan Coco, and Juan Coco comes back into the track. Almost takes Mohammed Hasif out, but he didn't, luckily.
Wow. For a second, we thought that we're looking at another Hamilton Verstappen situation, but there you go. Everyone being quite sensible for a change, and looks as though all 14 drivers are still pointing the right direction as we now come to the final sector, then to the end of the first lap, as Conrad Lodges now attacks his fellow academy driver Jet Li Russell, and Russell here, well, he's actually brave to hang it around the outside through Stowe and maintain 4th position. So Conrad Lodges then with one of his best performances in qualifying. Not such a good start in terms of the race, but at least he can settle in now and try to take the draft from the guy in front and try to pull away from the rest of the field.
Yeah, so Adam there in P5, but we have to go back to the front because Ronaldo Giulia there in P2. He's not that far away from Chris Chu in leading. So, you know, it'd be nice to see if we just talked about if he could pick up his first win in a race one, and he is not far away from Chris Chu. Chris, though, this is perfect conditions for Chris Chu. He is second in the championship, and this is really going to help his championship if he can stay out in front to win this race in first race of round 2.
Yeah, absolutely. In fact, after the first round, of course, he is 5th in the championship. About 16 points behind Keith Moe. So if he gets a race win and Keith will get at least below the top 5, he could actually match him. But right now, at least, Keith is holding on strong in 3rd place, just behind Ronaldo. So he's closing up to him, and he has resisted the advances of Jet. So really now, we're looking at a 3-way scrap at the front of the field.
Yeah, 3-way scrap, but they are pulling out a bit of a gap. There is Keith, our championship leader in P3, and Jet Li Russell holding off this train of cars there. Adam Kotrolach is behind him, John McGregor, and Hasif there in 6th position.
But there is a bit of a scrap between Mohammed Hasif and John McGregor though, as they are approaching the Corps corner now. So John McGregor, dies on the inside of Corps. Can he make it stick? Yeah, he does, and there's no contact, unlike Hamilton Verstappen. It's a very brave move from John McGregor on Mohammed Hasif for P6. As John McGregor looks like he's pulling away from Mohammed Hasif, and he has to pull away, otherwise Mohammed Hasif is going to get the draft on the hanger straight, and that is not something that you want as someone who wants to defend your position.
He's in the golf colors, not Red Bull, otherwise he would have actually been sent into the barriers at high speed. But look at that, he's back onto the draft. Oh, we have a car spinning in the background. It looks like Shami, and it's Kenny Lowe. So Kenny has spun, and unfortunately for him, he is going to be right at the back of the field. We don't know where Paul's going to be for race 2, but that just put pay to any good finishing positions he's going to have. As Hasif gets back up to the front, gets back up in front of McGregor, and McGregor fights back here coming through the final 2 corners of the lap. But Hasif really good here to battle here for 6th place, but unfortunately that has brought Juan Coco back into play.
Yeah, and it's a very impressive move by Mohammed Hasif as he overtakes around the outside of Stowe, something that you don't really do. You don't do that. You rarely do that actually. As you can see, Idre Ahmed, the guy who started in P14 and is now up to P10. And
wow.
And he's fighting Jack McGregor ahead of him, who's only 2 tenths ahead.
And you say guy, he's actually, remember, he's only 6, so he's pretty much a bona fide kid here. So fighting with the best of them, you know what? I was actually having a bit of pessimism about whether or not he could perform against the guys, because I just wanted to have a clean race and score points. But here he is at the cusp of the top 10, fighting it out and potentially finishing higher than 10th.
And by the looks of it, you're dead wrong, as Idre Ahmed is 3 tenths behind Jack McGregor still.
Oh, he's got a helmet too. He's got a helmet on.
And just in case you didn't believe us, there he is. So he's got a hoodie on. It looks like a helmet, though, that's for sure. It looks like Darth Vader. But there he is. He's dwarfed by his seat, dwarfed by the steering wheel. But, wow, mixing it up with some very good drivers.
And he's got a really good wheel, too. I think that looks like a Fanatec. I think it's a Fanatec belt-driven wheel. I forgot which one is it, but good kit that he has at home as he comes through Cops now. Look at that, he can still battle with Jack McGregor, who's a seasoned pro here in this championship.
Yeah, it is a seasoned pro. As we can see, the son of Jack McGregor, John McGregor, is now fighting against Mohammed Hasif for P6. And looks like he's trying to get a good exit coming out of Beckett's, and now
Yep.
approaching Chapel as he dives on the inside of Beckett's, and he gets a job done on
Yep.
John McGregor. Sorry, on Muhammad Hasif.
Yep. So that was a good move there. And this battle's just been going on from lap 1, hasn't it? It's and John's been making his way through, but then doesn't keep it clean, and it's allowed Hasif to come back at him. And you're right about Juan Coco as well. I think he's really closing in on these two.
Yeah, they're really closing in, and the gap between all three of them right now is 5 tenths. So Juan Coco made down the inside of Muhammad Hasif coming into Vale, but that doesn't look like it. He's trying to be the sensible person here as Muhammad Hasif rides on the sausage curb, something that you don't want to do in any cars.
That is true. And just back up to the front though, because look at that, Ronaldo Julie has slipped behind Keith Moore. Keith Moore, the championship leader, is now up to second in the blue car. So they've, Chris Chu out in front has actually extended that gap quite nicely, but obviously Keith and Ronaldo obviously battling hard for that second position to allow the leader to get away.
Yeah, it has, and Chris Chu is pulling away. The gap now between him and Keith Moore is 2.63 seconds. And Ronaldo Julie it may look like he's trying to close the gap, but it's a 1 second gap, and I don't know how fast can he close the gap to Keith Moore.
Okay, let's go back to that great battle between McGregor, Coco and Hasif.
Oh, Jack McGregor tries to move on the inside of Juan Coco. Backs off. Oh, dives down the inside, so gets the job done on Juan Coco, and now will chase son Jack for P7. And
I think John's the dad, Jack's the son.
Jack's the son.
Yeah, Jack's the son. And both McGregors have won quite a few races on Globe in the Copper class. Consistency maybe not that great, but they can be very fast indeed.
As we can see, Jack tries to make a move on Muhammad Hasif round the outside of Stowe. Muhammad Hasif makes it stick and stays ahead of John McGregor. John McGregor is now really being ambitious, trying to overtake Muhammad Hasif. Dives down the inside of Maggots, backs off, and may get him on the hanger straight.
Yeah.
As we can see, Jack McGregor on the inside of, Juan Coco on the inside of Jack McGregor, and gets a job done on Jack McGregor.
Yeah. So Coco there in the red car. He's on the inside now, was on the outside, now on the inside of the yellow car of Jack McGregor. They're going side by side right behind John McGregor and Hasif. So great four-way fight between these drivers. Oh, John's going to try the switchback, isn't he? But no, it doesn't quite work out for him, and Coco's through.
Coco's through, and with 6 minutes to go, the battle for P6 is getting really interesting, Alex, isn't it?
Yeah, it is. It's they're going sideways right now, all over the curb. Not touching the sausage curb, hopefully, like you mentioned. But yeah, it's looking good there. Coco, though, didn't get a really good exit out there. Now he's got Jack coming all the way back at him again. He needs to keep it clean. One of the biggest problems, especially in Copper class, I think, is when you do make the overtake, you need to be very clean to try and then extend the gap. And some of these guys, they make the overtake, then they make some more mistakes, which allows their competitor to come back at them.
Yeah, and I think that they can't really handle the pressure. As we can see, Muhammad Asif goes wide there coming out of turn 4 and coming down the hanging straight. And coming back to the pressure, I think these Copper drivers are excellent, but they can crack under pressure, and that's the major downside of it. If you can't handle the pressure, then it's going to be very difficult for you as a racer.
Yeah. Oof, contact there. Luckily, he's still pointing the right way. Normally when you have that sort of knock, you end up going backwards into the barriers. But Coco there in the red car getting super aggressive, barges his way through. Quite surprising. That was a little bit on the edge, but he is through now, up to 7th position.
Yep, up to 7th position is Juan Coco. Muhammad Hasif is right behind him, and alongside Muhammad Hasif is Jack McGregor. So Jack McGregor is staying behind as Muhammad Hasif dives on the inside of Stowe, gets the job done, and doesn't look like he can get it stick though.
Yeah, the big beneficiary of this, of course, is John McGregor. Look at that. The guys scrapping behind have allowed him to extend that gap now, and he looks quite secure in 6th position. But behind him, it's still all to play for. Jack has finally got through. Oh, contact. That was netcode though. Oh, but unlucky. So unlucky for Jack. All that hard work he'd done, undone.
Undone indeed. Muhammad Hasif accidentally tapped Jack McGregor, which is very unfortunate, but it's racing, and sometimes things happens in racing.
Okay.
Sorry to interrupt on that one, guys, but did you see what happened to Adri? Because he's dropped out of the race, unfortunately.
I think he's gone above his incident points. I can show him actually. He's kind of there, chilled by the steering wheel. He's doesn't look too unhappy, but great experience for his first race.
Yeah, he will still get some valuable points on the board anyway because there's points go all the way to 15, so he'll get 2 points for his troubles.
Anyway, Chris Chu there, leading the race right now, looking comfortable there. 3.5 minutes to go, 3.5 minutes and a bit to go, and he's looking very comfortable there. In second position, Keith Moe has closed down that gap. He has closed down that gap, but it's a battle behind him that's looking very interesting.
Oh, the final battle for the podium between Jet Li Russell and Renato Julie. Jet Li Russell being the aggressive one here, tries to make a move on turn 5 on Renato Julie and backs off on the hanging straight.
Yeah, so it's kind of interesting watching Julie here because Julie, like I said, he's been very quick in the past, but we've seen him in this position before. You know, he's second on the grid, looking quick, but then his consistency, his inconsistency starts to creep in. And that's what we're seeing right now because his one lap pace is good enough to be challenging Chris Chu for the win, but he's unable to be consistent enough and he starts falling back into the clutches of the younger drivers and starts making mistakes.
Yeah, he has, by the looks of it, Renato Julie's best lap is a 209.768, whereas Keith Moe is 209.695, but it's the consistency that matters in this. If you're not consistent, then that's where you can lose a lot of time in this race. And it's a 15-minute race, so you have to be extra consistent. Otherwise, you're just going to lose points. Sorry, you're going to lose positions.
Okay, let's have a look back at the battle in there. See Jack McGregor, see if he's caught up to that battle. Yeah, he has. There he is on the inset. And he has closed down after getting punted into that half spin. He has closed down the gap to Coco and Hasif. So maybe there's enough time for him to find those positions.
And it's actually surprising. I always get confused between Jack and John. I always thought that Jack is the older one and John is the younger one.
It's because he's got the big beard, isn't it?
Yeah.
There he is. Okay.
Sorry, but I mean, I think that a name could signify if you're older or younger. I guess we just assume that way.
Well, maybe.
Okay, now we're on Jet Li, though. There he is. He's coming under some big pressure from Adam Kondralachis. Kondralachis there in, you know, he qualified, like you said, really high up. That was a good result by him. But he's, yeah, all over the back of Jet.
Oh, Jet Li Russell dies on the inside of Renato Julie and gets third position. Renato Julie is not giving up without a fight. They're approaching Wellington Straight now and they're getting extremely hasty.
Yeah, Julie there getting very frustrated, getting his elbows out as well. Right on the limit with the racecraft stuff.
Yeah, it has. And Jet Li Russell, the gap between him and Renato Julie is 2 tenths. And the Kondralachis is only 2 tenths behind Jet Li Russell as well. So Adam may squeeze himself into the podium in case Jet Li Russell and Renato Julie does anything funny. But we're gonna have to wait and see. There's 57 seconds remaining on the timer. Chris Chu is pulling away from the lead though, and it may look like a Chris Chu victory. Keith Moe will settle himself in second place, but the battle for third between Renato Julie, Jet Li Russell, and Adam Kondralachis is looking really, really, really interesting in these final minutes of the race.
Yeah, it's a case of damage limitation here for Keith in wanting to fulfill his ambition of winning the championship. So he might lose points, just 5 here to Chris Chu, but in the bigger context, he still has a healthy lead at the top of the championship. So at least for him, he's got that going for him.
Yes, it has. As we can see now, Chris Chu with 20 seconds remaining, and this might be the last lap of the race. So Chris Chu, if he doesn't make any mistakes, he will cross the line in P1, and Keith Moe will finish in P2, 1.2 seconds behind Chris Chu. And Renato Julie and Jet Li Russell, the gap between them is 1 second, so it looks like Renato Julie will settle himself for third.
Yep. So Ammo coming across the line now for the leaders.
Yep. So this is the final lap, and Chris Chu out of Abbey Vale onto the start-finish line and takes the win here in race 1 for Copper. Look at that. He's across the line, shakes the wheel in absolute elation to win his first race, second race of the season. Keith Moe comes across the line in second, and third is Renato Julie, who gets a podium in race 1 at last. And the rest of the field come by with fourth going to Andrew Kondralachis and fifth Jet Li Russell. And Alex, I think you might have one of the winners on the line.
No, not yet though. We will see. Let's see if we actually. Why don't we? It's a good idea. Let's see if we can talk to Chris Chu. See if we can get Chris Chu on the line. See if Chris is available. We'll ask him to unmute himself, and we'll put him on.
Hi, Alex.
But in
Hi,
all honesty,
hi,
oh, sorry.
Chris. How are you, mate? That was a good win.
Ecstatic, of course. Yeah, I mean, it was all down to a really fantastic start. I don't know what happened to everybody else, but they kind of, maybe they were chatting with each other, but
Yeah.
and the rest of the race was just like just focusing and keeping out front.
Yeah,
I could see Keith coming up behind me towards the end. That was a little bit of a worry because he's slightly quicker than me at the moment. So and he's doing really well. So
Yeah, we
we'll see what happens in the second race.
we hardly even focused on you because you were way out in front right then. But congratulations on the win, and
Thank you.
let you concentrate because we got, I think, is it top 12 reversed? Might be top 14 reversed for race 2.
Right. Okay.
Okay, thank you.
Okay.
So there are the championship, the finishing positions. Chris Chu there, Keith Moe in second, Ronaldo Julie in third, Adam Controlachis in fourth, John McGregor there in P5.
And in all honesty, that race was won because of the start. And Chu just got away so cleanly from the rest of the field that he just built that lead from then on.
Yeah, absolutely. So, yeah, I mean, good win there for Chris. Now, reverse grid race, so it's going to be very tricky to see what happens next. You've got to survive the first few corners because the first few corners is where it all happens. Yeah, something, it's great seeing some talent there. What do you think, Afik? I mean, some young drivers. I think Andre had a pretty good first race, even though he got DQ'd for the incident points, didn't he?
I think it all comes down to maturity. I think over time, Andre will increase in maturity and he'll know how to drive even better than he did. Because mind you, this is his first race in the Global Edition Championship hosted by ERGP.
Yeah. Yeah.
So it's going to be really interesting. Looking forward to what Andre does in the future, but probably wants to look out for.
Yeah, absolutely. Okay, and let's see. We've got 30 seconds to go before race 2 starts again. And lining up the grid, Ammo. So, let's see who is in P1 right now. It's the white car, isn't it, on pole position? And
it's not Adri's. That's definitely not Adri's car. So
it's Mike Lee.
So Michael Philipsi Lee, the Dutch guy, will lead the field here coming through turn 1 as the lights on the gantry, lights on the graphic gantry are on. And we're out here for race 2 in Copper, and looks like it's a good start there for Michael. So he took a really good launch off the line, and he will take the whole shot coming through turn 1 as, a few cars there clipping each other, but I think most of the field survived. And yes, everyone has gotten through quite safely that time. So we're looking at the guys at the back here, which is, I think, Chris Chu. So Chu's still at the back, trying to safely navigate his way through the traffic. But out in front, it looks as though Michael has actually been overtaken by Jet Li.
And because of the 30-second penalty that Jet Li receives from race 1, he is demoted all the way down to probably P11, I believe. And at the moment, he's leading race 2, which is a reverse grid. So it might be a little bit of luck for Jet Li Russell there. The 13-year-old, is it, Ammo?
Yep, 13. I just only saw him just now. He was aiming for a good weekend, and unfortunately that first race was not what he would have wanted because he had a 30-second penalty. I would assume because it was for corner cutting or track limits, and he just got penalized retroactively by the game. So unfortunate for him, but good news is he is now up in front here, and he will gain a priceless haul of points, 15, if he wins race 2.
It's quite impressive to see Mike there. Mike's there is doing a good job there in P2. He's very new to sim racing. He does a lot of track days, I think in his Lotus actually, but very, very new to sim racing. And it's good to see him having a nice clean run at the front. I don't know what happened to him in race 1. Got involved in some argy-bargy, I think. But yes, and as I say that, I give him the commentator's curse because he runs wide coming onto the hang straight.
Yes, it does. He comes right out, coming out of the hang straight, and one Coco will be right alongside Mike Lee and will overtake Mike Lee coming into store.
Yeah, Coco then through there, and down the inside. Mike goes around the outside now, doesn't he, Ammo?
And he will go, oopla, that just went wide. That's his usual say because I've actually seen him drive before. Unfortunately, that moment of fame that he had up in front will just be fleeting as he is now going to be inevitably be caught up by the rest of the field. But still, holding on his own here for the 5th place in the race order right now. But that will definitely be temporary because the rest of the field looks so tempted to race him.
Yeah. Okay, Mike Lee there through in P5. So I think what are the drivers thinking about right now as they come through the field? Let's still go back to the Chris Chu. What will he be thinking about? What will he be thinking about overtaking? Can he be aggressive, or will he just be super?
Well, he has to be aggressive though, because mind you, he's still behind Keith Moore in the championship. So if he wants to close the gap to Keith Moore in the championship, he has to be extra aggressive and he has to overtake people front, right, and center.
Well, that's a good point because Keith Moore has disappeared from the leaderboard. So I think he might have had a disconnect. So that's going to be a disaster for our championship leader.
It's going to be a disaster for our championship leader Keith Moore, but it's going to be really good news for Chris Chu though, who is currently in 7th. He's 5 tenths behind Kenny Lowe, but it looks like he can close the gap to Kenny Lowe.
It looks as though I think Keith didn't even start the race, so it might have been a connection dropout in between the period where we were switching sessions. So unfortunate for the championship leader, and we cannot get him on board right now because I think he probably has turned off his zoom camera. But either way, this is a great opportunity, as you guys said, for Chris Chu to challenge for the front, and also Jack McGregor, because remember he came into the championship only 1 point behind Keith Moore. So really, then it's going to be all changed at the front of the field.
Yeah, John McGregor though, he's all the way down in 9th position, so not going so well for him. It's not going to plan. But it's looking good for Chris Chu though right now. Chris has got, if he can stay where he is, finish the top 5, he might end up with a nice championship lead.
Indeed he would, and that's a good haul of points. He did finish, where was he in race 1? He was in 5th place in race 1, so that already, he lost a bit of points to Keith because Keith finished 2nd. But if he actually could get it up into the top 5, that might put him level on points at the end of the round.
Yep, very true indeed. Okay, back at the front, Jet Li Russell still leading that race. Look at that ammo, and he's actually pulling out a bit. And Hasif there is up to P2. That's a really good first 2 laps by him.
Absolutely, and after going into the wars basically with Juan Coco and Jack McGregor in that first race, oh, I thought he slid for a second. Oh, he saved it there. But the FAC Racing guy really showed that he can race virtually as well in the real world, because as we mentioned before, we established that FAC Racing are a karting team and they really are very supportive of their drivers in sim racing. So it's nice to see that their drivers are going well here.
Yeah, that is so true indeed. Nice to see the sim guys go to the real world, but nice to see the real guys come into the sim world as well. Further back, Chris Chu there, trying to make some more progress, not making the progress he'd wanted. And Mike Lee there holding a train of cars.
Yeah, indeed, and I'm impressed that he's still holding up on his own here in the top 10. You might have thought that he might have been swamped, but here he is defending for his life here for a good haul of points. Remember, only the top 10 get points in the second race, so really then, if he wants to get away with more points for the weekend, he's gonna have to hold on to the position here against a really fast gaggle of cars.
So Mike Lee in P6. Chris Chu though has overtaken Mike Lee. So Chris Chu is currently in P5. Looks really good for Chris Chu, and he is closing down on Juan Coco. As you can see, Shami Masindra is now right at the gearbox of Mike Lee, coming into Maggots, Beckers, and Chapel section of the track. One of the fastest and flowy bits of the track, and I find it very interesting to drive here, Hamo.
Absolutely, Afi. It's actually quite exhilarating, especially if you're in a single seated car. Remember, we've driven the FRX 17s here and Formula 3 cars. You can basically take it flat for the first 2 parts of Maggots and Beckers before you're going to have to lift off inevitably, because it becomes a much slower corner from then on, and you need to find a good exit on the way up to the hangar straight. And it looks as though Shami Masindra on the hangar straight, we're going further behind. There's Adri. Adri up to 9th place. So he is battling against the best of the best here in Copper as he defends from Renato Julie, and Julie nearly got one on the inside, but luckily for Adri, he held on to it, but he's going to have to defend even harder now coming up to the chicane parts. Here's Vale. Ooh, another guy coming up behind us, Andrew Condrolachis. Oh, Condrolachis actually smacks into the side of him, saying hello to him, and all 3 of them nearly got stuck together. All the while then, a driver further behind, that's Remery, I think, from Australia. He's a debutant. As oof, one guy flipped up into the air, and that could have been Kenny Lowe. That was Kenny Lowe. So, oh, even for the final points paying positions here, everyone's racing very hard.
Wow, I can't believe it. He's doing a great job, and he's not driving irresponsibly either. So people coming in, actually he's getting hit more often than he's hitting people. Oh, look at that. Who's that behind him? Is that Julie? Julie, yes, I thought he was going to try that, but decides to pull out of it last minute, slows down Condrolachis, and Amit just makes a little bit of a gap there. He'll appreciate that gap. Thank you very much.
Oh, he would love to have that breathing space there, Adri. He would want to focus on trying to get up to... Who's that in front? That's Michael. So Michael Lee Philipsi up in front of him. So he has a target now. All the while then, the guys behind are still targeting him. So not over yet in the final 7.5 minutes left. So half the race gone and half the race to go here for race 2 in Copper.
As we can see, Jack McGregor in P3 though, looking very, very, very good though, chasing down Muhammad Hasif for P2 on the grid. And a little bit of a timing glitch there as Muhammad Hasif tries to defend for his life for P2. Jack McGregor being extra aggressive coming into Megas, Beckers and Chapel section of the track. He has to get a very good exit coming out of Beckers. He needs the toe down the hanger straight and he needs to dive down the inside of Muhammad Hasif insto if he were to get ahead. Oh, a little bit of net work there.
That's seriously bad net code, wasn't there?
Yeah, it was. As we can see, Jack McGregor around the outside of Muhammad Hasif coming to stow, backs off. Oh, gives him a little love tap from the back and stays behind in P3. So Muhammad Hasif is defending though. Will Jack McGregor dive down the inside of Vale? Doesn't look like it.
Oh, tries, decides not to in the end. But yeah, one of these cars is lagging very badly.
And it looks like Muhammad Hasif, he's been having network problems ever since race 1. But it may not be a factor for him. It may be a factor to Jack McGregor though. Remember, he's racing somewhere a bit further from Malaysia.
Oh dear. I think it's Hasif that has the poor internet connection. Jack must be going, where do I go right now? Because it's a tough situation, isn't it, Amber? What do you do when someone's lagging like that around you?
I would just give more than a meter's social distancing from that one because that is quite scary. Imagine for 1 second that you go through that guy when he's lagging and you end up actually crashing into the barriers. So really Jack is tempting fate here by actually staying really close. And it looks as though he's got a run up on him on the Wellington straight. He might try to send one on the inside coming through Brooklands. Look at that. Hasif still lagging like mad. But it looks as though Jack might get the move done. Yes, he does. But Hasif will get on the inside coming through to... what's this, Luffield? Oh, but he gets it done just about as the guy further behind actually went off there. That looks like one Coco.
Yeah, so Jack has to be perfect right now because the last thing he wants to do is make another mistake and get back into the clutches of Hasif, and then because it's so risky, right? Because you could end up with a guy just lagging into you and putting you in the wall. So Jack, this is a really important part of the race for him. He needs to be perfect. He needs to start extending that gap over Hasif.
And I think that beard of his might have actually grown a bit whiter after seeing that one because a few years of his life might have been taken out seeing a car lagging like mad. But this has released him slightly as he's... Oh, look at that! Hasif goes again! Oh, he nearly went to the back of him, but luckily his car just zapped back together and then really holding on to the racing line right now because he's got a target. Only 5 seconds ahead of him is Jet, but he's going to have to gain about a second a lap just to get up to the back of him, and I don't think he has enough time to actually catch him.
It's like a disco. I think Jack must think he's in a disco because these are the lights strobing where he's driving and the cars strobing around him as well. But yeah, it looks like he's got up to second. We shouldn't ignore the winner right now. Sorry, am I getting ahead of myself? Not winner. The leader.
Well, the race is not over yet, Alex. So Jet Lee Russell completing lap 6 is 4.3 seconds ahead of Jack McGregor. He's looking very comfortable at the front, and if he keeps his composure, he is going to cross the line in first position. And with 4 minutes to go, it may look like the win may be handed to him. But I don't want to say anything further because I don't want to give any commentators curse.
Yeah, and Ammo, look at that. Chris Chu quietly. He didn't look like he's making much progress through the first few laps, but he's quietly and surely got himself up to P4.
And again, this is building momentum up to a championship fight. We only have 4 rounds in the championship because it actually is going to be a short sprint towards the final race. But also to note, for Keith's sake, we have drop rounds. So for Keith, this round he can put it into the bin and he can still be having a bit of a championship lead coming into round 3. So watch that space. We can still have that coming to play later in the season.
Okay, this is the battle for 5th position. One Coco having a good drive there ahead of the other McGregor, the father, John McGregor. Oh, John going wide again. He's done that a couple times now. Let's watch out. What corner is that? That's Brooklands, is it?
Yeah, that's Brooklands approaching Luffield.
Priory. Oh, I can't remember now. It's been so long. But yes, good battle there. Coco holding on at the moment, coming up to Cops. And yeah, he should be able to hold that because Cops is it's just a lift through there. Further back though, this is an interesting battle again between Mike Lee and Andre. Andre there. Oh, he was what happened? There was cars around him, and he's dropped back a little bit to P10.
Probably he got contact by Adrian Quadrolochis and Ronaldo Giuli there. Ronaldo Giuli, though, who was in P9, is currently at the bottom of the table. Something that, you don't really want. It can be really demotivating for you. But, life goes on. So Adam Quadrolochis was the biggest winner in that fight just now between him and Ronaldo Giuli. He's in P8. Mike Lee, though, who started in P2, is all the way down in P9. So he's not having a very good race now. It has the ammo.
Well, to say not having a good race is an understatement. It really went south quite quickly, but all is not lost. He has quite a gap between himself and Adri. Adri likewise also has a bit of a gap to Kenny Lowe, so they're both gonna get points either way because top 10 only gets points in race 2. But for Michael, I guess he should probably just practice doing more races and try to get the better of these guys next time around.
Yeah, just needs more races, really. Okay, so a bit further back, let's go back to the front right now. Well, 1.5 minutes to go. It's looking pretty good for Russell right now. I think this might be his last lap, or it might be a little bit later.
It's the last lap, Alex, because these cars lap almost close to 2 minutes anyway. So really, in fact, it is above 2 minutes, 2 minutes 8. So I think this is the last lap for Jet Li Russell to take his first win in ERGP. He would have never expected that waking up this morning.
I don't think he would have. And, you can put a smile on your face as when you cross the line in first position. It's extremely rewarding when you cross the line as a winner. I know I have. I know I vowed to myself that I'll shave my head bald if I ever cross the line in first position again. Something that is very rare nowadays. But, for Jet Li Russell, it can be really, really, really motivating for him going forward right now.
We can legally call you CJ after that. Just wear white singlet, we call it a day.
Yeah, with the bald head. So Jet Li Russell approaching Maggots, Beckett's and Chapel there. Maggots at the moment actually, and now coming into Beckett's. Before you lift here in Beckett's, go down a gear into third gear and then plant the throttle again for the hanger straight. And Jet Li Russell, the gap between him and Jack McGregor now is 5 seconds. And it looks like Jack McGregor, and with 15 seconds to go, this is going to be the final lap of the race. Jet Li Russell, the driver from the academy, will cross the line in P1, and Jack McGregor will finish in P2, and Mohamed Hasif, who is 1.8 seconds behind Jack McGregor, will round out the podium. As we can see, Jet Li Russell coming out of the final section Vale, and now coming into Club Corner, as Jet Li Russell will cross the line in first position. Jet Li Russell is a Global Edition winner.
Look at that, shakes his steering wheel across the line, and remember, he is racing from the Axel Studios here, the Academy driver, so really happy then for an Academy driver to come through and take the checkered flag. Second is Jack McGregor, third is Hasif, so another podium to add to his tally. Last time he had a podium in Sepang, and another one here today as well. Chris Chu with a valiant fourth, and he will, I think, provisionally take the lead of the championship. And fifth, Juan Coco, who had a very aggressive round this time. And Alex, I think you might have some interviews on the cards.
Yeah, let's see who we can get. No, Russell's not on Zoom, so we will miss him at the moment, unfortunately. So okay, we'll try and talk to him later on. So Lee Russell takes his first win. Jack McGregor, great recovery there for P2. Hasif in 3. Chris Chu, he'll be very pleased with that for P4 and leads the championship now. Juan Coco in 5. John McGregor in 6th. I think John McGregor now in 2nd in the championship. Adam Quadrolochis didn't have a great start to the race, but had a very strong second half of the race to get up to P7. Mike Lee, P8. He'll be happy with that. Points for him. And Andrea Amit with P9 scores his first points in his second ever race. Wow. Ronaldo Giuli there from Indonesia rounds out the top 10. Okay, Amo, thank you very much. We will be back in a little while for bronze with you. So, exciting racing there. You enjoy that?
I enjoyed it quite a lot, and to see Jet Li Russell finally winning his first race in Global Edition after quite a few tries, it's I'm very, very happy for him.
Yeah, absolutely. Very good indeed. Okay, so that is Copper done and dusted. We'll be back in about 10 minutes with the bronze class. So, stay tuned for that. Back after these few messages from our sponsors.